Hello everyone, my name is Christian. Welcome back to my hobby blog. I'm very excited today because I just finished up Philip Chase's fourth and final book so far of the Eden series, which is called While Darkness Gathers. Here's the cover, very, very well done. Actually, I think this might be my favorite cover out of the four, but I finished this just a few days ago and I've been thinking about it, and I think this might be one of my favorite books of this year because as much as I love the Eden trilogy, I feel like a lot of those books were quite long. They were about 800 pages, some of them. And this book is just a very brisk 320 pages long. And I ended up finishing this in like 2 days. I was binge reading it. I could not stop reading it. And this does take place 16 years after the original trilogy, which is awesome. I do love my time skips in fantasy, so it's always sort of like a fun, like, where's our characters now? And this story, trying to go as non-spoiler as I can for now, but I will go into spoilers, but I absolutely loved all of the new characters. We have a character by the name of Real, who is the daughter of Sakara and Dayraven, and we also have the two sons of Ovandil, the king, the sort of like Viking king, I think, is sort of what the culture is like. But they are Kel and Voland. And those three characters are who I loved the most out of this book. And I also really loved Bailu, who is the dog of Ryle, or Real. I don't know how you pronounce that. But I just loved all of these characters. And also seeing what fan favorite characters were after 16 years, because some of them have gone into hiding. We don't really know too much about them, and it's been 16 years, so we have a lot like sort of mysteries around these characters. And we see Saren again, which is a lot of fun, although I don't really like where that character was in the story because I felt like it was a little cruel, but she was just awesome still. But we also have Non, who is in this book. He's sort of like a Dorvish blacksmith type of character, and he's awesome. I love that character, and the story is also just very well realized. It's very natural, especially after book 3, that this book went this direction in the story, and I loved it. I just absolutely loved this book. I couldn't put it down, and I ended up binge reading it like so quickly. Like, it was just such an easy read for me, and this is absolutely like the best book that I could have ended the year with, because we have this really mega dragon raining hell around the north, Gorserad, who was one of the dragons that Dayraven was able to use in the Dan trilogy. I'm not going into too much spoilers here, I hope, but I really, really loved where the story went, and I wasn't bored during any of the sections. During the first 3 books, it was always sort of like a section of the book where I was like, okay, like, we need to get going. Like, I feel like the pacing's a little too slow at parts. But this book, it was just gas pedal the entire time, and I loved it. I just cannot believe that this surpassed my expectations, because book 1 I felt like was a very solid 8.5 out of 10, and I gave book 2 9, and I also gave book 3 a 9 out of 10, and I feel like this book is my favorite, and so I'm going to have to give it a 9.25. I don't want to give it a 9.5 because there were some emotional moments that didn't really click for me, and I'll go into that for the spoilers, but I just absolutely loved this book, and it's a really nice, like, coming of age type of story, and this is sort of like my favorite type of story in fantasy when we have a time skip, because you introduce very new, interesting characters that you invest in, while also having these legacy characters that still continue the story. And I love that. I just love this entire book, and I'm very happy to have ended the year with this book. But in regards to spoilers, the one big thing that I was really disappointed by was that Sakura ended up having to sacrifice herself at the end, just like her I guess husband Dayraven had to, because we have this story of her daughter, Ryle, who is like doesn't know that she is the daughter of Sakura. And Sakura taught her how to use the magic, Al-Makti, I believe. And it's really great. I love those scenes with them too. And I was really hoping we would get like a very emotional moment where they just are honest with each other. Because Ryle is very, I guess, just has a lot of like agency. Because the moment she finds out that Saren is sick and is dying, she immediately goes to her and heals her. And Sakura was like, no, you don't need to. Like, it's too late and all this stuff. And Sakura has this great moment where they talk with each other, and Sakura ends up holding back the information that she is her mother. And I really wish that she had revealed it at that moment, because I felt like that was a perfect time to mention it, but I understand why she did not reveal it, because there was a lot going on in the story at the time, and our main character, there's just so much depended on her that it would have, I think, that maybe would have distracted her or something, or made her a lot more protective. And so when Sakura sacrifices herself, she realizes, after talking to Norn and Orvandil, that she is her mother. And we have this really emotional part, and they're like, you know, we have Kel and Voland, who is the sons of Orvandil. Kel is the bastard son. Sort of like a Jon Snow type of situation where he's kind of like hidden away. No one knows that who his true father is. And the mother is someone who we don't really get that much with her. I wish we did get more time with her, but I really, really enjoyed reading everything with the dragons. Every time Gorserad showed up in the story, it was always very terrifying, because we always get this POV of some soldiers watching as he just carpet bombs, basically, with his dragon breath across, you know, the village, and he's just knocking out entire villages and towns in this land. And I was a little disappointed by the conclusion of the dragon, because the dragon sort of is just trying to find some peace, because he's just sort of been hunted this entire time. He's being used by magic wielders, and so Ryle gives him a merciful death and just kind of lets him die, and he falls from the sky. And it's a nice moment, but I wish we got a little bit more with the dragon. But what we did get was just awesome, so it's not really a big complaint on my part. But I would say that I really wish this book was maybe a bit 100 pages more, so we could have had more time to sort of linger in these scenes, because again, the pacing is so fast throughout this entire book, which isn't a complaint. It's just more like I wanted more. And I'm happy to hear, I think it was on a recent The Weeks That Were that Philip uploads, where he said that he's writing a prequel, and I'm so excited for that. I'm gonna pick that up day one and read it. But I really wish we had more time in this world, because I did really, really love this book. This is my favorite of the series. I keep almost saying trilogy. I have to catch myself. But it's just, yeah, I just want more. I'm very greedy. I definitely want to just keep reading this. And I'm really wanting to pick up the audiobooks. I think book 3 is coming out soon of the audiobook. So I think around summer of next year, I may do a reread. Hopefully all the audiobooks are out by then. And I'm very excited to do a reread. It's just a fantastic series. I think everyone should read this. This is just such a underrated series, in my opinion, underknown. So now that I've sort of read all of these, I'm very excited to talk with Philip and sort of pick his brain about, you know, the process and how he came to some of the decisions, and also talking about themes and all that, because this book thematically is my favorite. Again, it's a coming of age story, but it's also a continuation of our older characters, and it's just awesome. I really enjoyed it, and you know, I'm always going to be happy when we have a pet character, and Bailu, because he and Ryle, they're so closely bonded with each other magically that they're able to sort of read each other's minds and intents. And it's really, really great. There's some really great emotional points in the story concerning that. And I'm just really excited to read the prequel. So I think that's about all I have to talk about today. But thank you all so much for watching, and please have a great rest of the day.